one. Yo, what's up guys, Mr. Mythic here, and today I'm going to show you the top 5 best weapons for Destiny 2 PvE. Now real quickly, before we get into the video, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notifications button to never miss another video. Now, let's go right in. And also, real quick disclaimer, if you think that some of these exotics are dog water, we do not care. First weapon we're gonna talk about is the Ikel's SMG. The most important reason is because it can roll with Volt Shot, which after reloading after a kill makes the next boost jolt, which that means it will be very good for Arclair. And if you pair something with like threat detector or fading frenzy, this thing can go wild. Here's some gameplay of it. Now the reason why Volt Shot is so strong is because it can jolt other enemies, which makes it very good for Adclear and a bit of DP. It also makes you do a bit more DPS than usual. Another thing why the Akel's SMG is so great is because it can also be paired with Fleeting Frenzy to make it reload faster after you get kills, to make it so that once you be able to reload faster, you'll be able to get that full shot faster and be able to wipe more targets off the ground with the Volt Shot. Now, the second weapon we have is the Hollowed Chase Rifle, which the role that I have is repulsor base and lead from gold. The reason why this is so good is it can pair nicely with a void build such as like Griffin Falcons one and some other ones, but I mostly recommend it for this Griffin Harbrook one. I'm not even gonna try to say that anymore, honestly. Now the reason this is so good is because it can one roll with repulsor blaze, which after getting a kill, especially once you have volatile rounds on it, it will give you an overshield, which is nice if you're kind of in like Grandmaster content to get an overshield so that you can always take a bit less damage. And it also has lead from gold, which can kind of be good for a double special, because if you get heavy ammo, it will also give you special ammo, which is nice since in a well, not really that much anymore. In a double special build, it used to give you so much heavy, but now it doesn't really anymore. But double special is still pretty good since special weapons are really powerful. And that's the Hollow Denial. Let's move on to the third weapon. Now, the third weapon that we are going to be talking about on the list is the Forbearance Arc Grenade Launcher. The reason why this is so good is because it can roll with Chain Reaction, which after getting a kill, which will make an elemental damage explosion, which it will be very nice for Arclo since it already is a waveframe. So it can also pair nicely with some arc builds and Abyss's Assassin to make it from 1 in the magazine to 2 to be able to shoot more faster. And also I'd recommend putting on with a minor spec since miners are mostly the enemy you kill during ad clear. So as you can see in the footage, with the chain reaction, it will cause these giant explosions, which will cause all the enemies around to just get obliterated. And also, since this is an arc weapon, it will cause arc orbs like one that I'm carrying right now, which is honestly pretty nice because the arc orbs are pretty nice. Now that we're done with the forbearance, let's head on right to the next weapon. Now, moving on to the kinetic slot, the first weapon we have is a Riffers Furry auto rifle, which apparently auto rifles are getting a buff next season, but I'm not really that sure about it. And the reason this is so good, it can first roll target lock, which holding down the trigger on an enemy makes it do extra damage, so it can be nice for those chunkier enemies. And also reconstruction, which it kind of pairs really nicely with target lock to be able to build up ammo to be able to have about 128 so that the target lock could be at its maximum in about 50 rounds. So here's some gameplay of it. It can also, and since it also is a 720, it it shoots really fast. It could be really good for accurate, and since it also is a strand weapon, it could also be really good with some strand builds since it can create tangles and thread links. And also the target lock can also work sometimes when you're ad clearing, so that is honestly a nice. But now let's move on to the next weapon. Before we get to the first weapon, one of the best weapons in the game, let's first do an honorable mention, which is the Hungry SR4. The the reason why this is not really that good because the good one actually got vaulted about 2 seasons ago. That's why it's not the greatest anymore. But still, the one right now is still also pretty good. But I managed to get a explosive payload bow, which is pretty nice for longer range, doing slash damage and extra damage. But I did get an offhand strike, but it really doesn't matter because the main focus for this weapon is the explosive payload. So with the explosive payload, it will basically do explosive rounds, doing kind of like a double damage, but making the main damage a bit lower. But still, this is also pretty good for Nightfall since you will be far away from enemies, such as like Grandmasters and stuff, to try not to die. So scout rifles are one of the best for GMs and stuff. And now that we're done with the honorable mention, let's head on to the final weapon. Alright, the final one of the best weapons in the game is the Wishender Combat Bow, which is amazing because it not recently got a buff, which it kind of does extra damage because it does damage when it hits the target and it's when it's leaving the target. And there's a target behind the one that you hit, it will also hit that target and another one until about like 5 targets. And now the reason why it's so good is also it's a bow, and also it can see through. Maybe you can see through like champions, or if it's like any champions or high elite enemies and stuff. And it can also be a bit good in PvP, maybe for like seeing where the enemy is, but the damage is not very good at PvP. And and as you can see, if I hold it down, it'll go right through the enemy and kill the one behind them. And also if I hit him in the head, and also it does a very good amount of damage if you get it like a body shot, and even a headshot, it will still do very fairly good. But most of the time when you do, um it's like against like a big target. So I don't even know how to land. So those were the top 5 best. Those were the top 5 best. One of the top 5 best weapons in the game. For more videos, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification button to never miss another video. It really helps out, and it's free. So be sure to do it. So thanks for watching and goodbye.